Hi, I'm Andrew Odawan, and I'm the CTO of O'Reilly Media. And in this quick video, I'm going to introduce you to Git as it relates to DevOps and source code management. So before we get started, you might wonder what does source code management have to do with DevOps at all or operations at all? And because in DevOps we're doing software as well as operations, we have a lot of things that we have to keep track of. There's different configurations, there's our source code, there are different settings that we have in different files. So whether you're managing your infrastructure as code or whether you're managing your source code, your version control is really the heart of what you're going to be doing in your software process. And in this video, we'll be talking specifically about a tool called Git, which is used to manage distributed teams. And its advantage is really that each person can work locally on their own system. They can make changes in what's called their own branch. They can commit those, and then they can push them up to a central server where they can be reconciled and merged and then deployed into production. So Git is a very powerful tool, and it's used in conjunction with a site called GitHub, which is a place for not only sharing code, so sharing these central systems, but also providing tools such as issue tracking, wikis, README visualizations, and any of a number of other process management tools. So Git and GitHub are really your essential tools in the DevOps when you're doing DevOps. So I want to begin with just a quick introduction. So the first thing we need to do in our first foray of Git is create a new directory where we'll be able to make our changes and commit our changes that we're working on. So first, I'm just going to make the new directory, and then I'm going to configure Git. So I'm going to tell it a little bit about who I am, providing my email and my real name. And these are the values that Git's going to use when it commits my changes, so that these will show up in the log. And not just my changes, everyone else who's committing to my project will also show up using these configuration information. So you want to be sure that you're using good values for these. Then once we've got our Git configured, we want to run git init. And what that's going to do is create the initial Git database that's going to be used to actually track the history of changes that we're making through the process. And what this will create a directory in this directory called .git. It'll be hidden from you unless you change into it and then look around. So if you want to poke around behind the scenes of what Git is doing, you can change into this .git directory and see how Git organizes things as a tree. But for right now, we just want to create a simple program that we're just going to run and see how we commit and add a few changes to it. So what I want to do next is run a simple echo command that's just going to create a small Python program in a file called test.py, and that's going to basically just print hello Git. So next I just want to run this real quick to make sure that it's giving us the output that we expect. So there it is. It's saying hello Git. And I want to use the git command now, git add test.py. And what that's going to do is register that this new file is something that Git ought to be tracking in its commit history. So if I add it, I can next run git status. And what that's going to show is really the status of the directory. So what changes have been made that are not being currently managed and tracked by Git. So since we just added this file, it's saying, hey, I'm looking at test.py and tracking it, but it's not committed yet. So I'm going to now git commit, and what that's going to do is actually add it into Git's history. So I do git commit -m and a little message. So I'm going to say simple print program. And then next, I want to run git status again to see that my changes have been saved. So you can see that, yes, it's there, it's been modified and committed. So once we've got that, let's say I'm not really satisfied with hello Git. I want to go with something more traditional, say hello world. So I will rerun my little program that's going to create the small Python program. So it's going to do print hello world now instead of hello Git, and run git status. So you can see that that file has changed, because now instead of saying git hello Git, it says hello world. And then I'm going to run git diff. And what git diff is going to do is show the actual differences between what's on my master, so that's the last thing that I committed, and what the current state of the file system is. So you can use this as a quick check to see, well, what are the files that have changed and what are the changes within them. So we can see here that Git has been replaced by world, And so now I'm happy, so I'm going to do git add test.py. So I'm going to add the new version of that into the system and commit it. So once I commit, this time I'm going to say my first change so that I can see that I have a different message in the log file. And then finally, I'm going to run git log test.py, and that's going to show me the different all the different changes that have happened on that file.